All right, we got another deal here. This is a flooring company out of South Carolina, asking 3.5 million, cash flow 1.1 million. I'm going to run this the same way I do with all the others. We're going to go first impressions and go our way down. I didn't go heavy on this beforehand, other than putting it into our calculator, so that way you get the first impression as we would look at this, as we would otherwise look at it on behalf of our buying partners. So 3 million in revenue, 1.1 million in cash flow. This instantly tells me that there's probably not a heavy management layer in place, and probably no management layer in place, which basically is flat out explaining to me that this is a heavy owner operation setup. Now, obviously we'll see as we go through the details, but pretty much instantly I know that's the case. Next to no equipment, so tells me they probably also subcontract all the work out, which may explain why the cash flow is so high as a ratio. Next to no inventory, that also kind of further adds fuel to the fire of this being a subcontractor route. Low rent, again, further adds fuel to the fire, because when rent is low, that means you're not storing equipment or storing inventory. Base 2017, so what is that now? 7 years old. It's not bad. Definitely has scaled up quite decent in 7 years' time. Let's see, award-winning flooring business. I mean, I guess you can get awards and ratings within 7 years pretty easily. Let's see here. So they do custom flooring designs. That probably explains how they've got awards. Although custom designs and subcontracting don't often go very well hand in hand. It depends. But that also, in this case, would tell me if they're subcontracting and they're doing all this stuff custom, which usually means high end, they are limited in how much they can scale with their subcontractors, because generally subcontractor work, it's really hard to manage quality. Let's see. So they apparently have a team. We'll see in a second when we get to the employee count here. But that's good. Modern showroom with well-stocked inventory. That's not quite what we're seeing up here, but maybe, again, brokers always input the wrong information in these, or input information that loves to throw people off. So maybe that's the case. But this, I mean, $6,000 in flooring inventory, this would kind of make sense if this is basically whatever's in the showroom. Although this does allude here that they hold on to a lot of inventory if they have quick turnaround. And I would expect more so what they're really saying here is quick turnaround to be able to get jobs done, which means they're not waiting for inventory in an order. It's not always a good thing. Strong online presence. They're getting new customers, probably SEO and ads. That's totally fine. Current owners committed to smooth transition. Always good to hear. And they're just recapping the same here. Let's see. So small real estate space, 700 square feet is tiny. So this must really be a small showroom, because they mentioned up here they have the showroom. This must be a really tiny showroom. And I mean, pretty much exactly what I expected. So they are subcontracting everything out for sure. Already had conversations about owner financing. Now, let me calculate what that is. 875,000 at a purchase price here of 3.5 million. That's 25%. Very solid. So the broker did their job. They structured a good deal here. Interest rate, I mean, I hate paying interest rates on seller finance, but it's not bad when they're going to front 25, 30% of the deal. It's always fine. This somewhat scares me, though. Unless they just, broker just put this in the wrong way, and really they meant retirement and the idea of having a more hands-off lifestyle, whatever else. But, generally lifestyle changes are not what we want to see for a good, solid business. But let's see here. So what I've done, same as I always do here, is just plugged it in to our cash flow calculator here, so we can see what debt service looks like, what cost to close looks like, what end cash flow looks like. And so let me walk you through here. So we got revenue at 3 million, and somehow 3,991,000. So I mean, this may be a real number, but interesting. Cash flow 1.1 million. Same as we always do, we're going to discount cash flow here, because realistically, this is never what cash flow works out to. What this is here is SDE, or seller discretionary earnings, at best, oftentimes it's actually a completely bullshit number, to be honest, but at the very best, it's seller discretionary earnings, which is not a real way you should value a business. So we take a 20% discount on that, just assume that they're probably doing some weird creative accounting that they really shouldn't be doing. Then we have our asking price at 3.5 million. So effectively on realistic net out numbers, and this again, 20% is a pretty decent amount. Sometimes it's more like 40% you have to discount these. Really, it's always a little bit different. With Transworld, I would almost guarantee the discount of 20% is low end. Probably needs to be even higher. Asking 3.5 million, multiple 3.6 on the discounted cash flow. So still not bad. 3.6 times when they're doing basically $1 million in EBITDA, $1 million in net income. We'll obviously see if you reach out to the deal, you'll see 3.6 is still not a bad multiple. Seller finance, so they're offering 25%. So 874,000, give or take. Is that about right? 875, yeah, basically the same. Total SBA loan here, we're just going to change this because this is going to be 75% of the deal is SBA. Interest rate, we're actually down now. Officially, we've had commitment letters at 10.25%. So we're finally down to that. That means monthly debt payments here, about 40 grand. This is straight line amortized, so this isn't going to be exact. It'll probably be lower than this, especially in the first couple of years, because SBA, the way their amortization works, it's very much like a mortgage, front loaded on interest. And so this payment is probably off by a factor of about 10 to 15%. So this number here is going to be down by about 10 to 15%. But when we look at that with typical costs, so I'm going to assume due diligence, typically about 2%-ish. SBA guarantee fee is calculated based on the standards, miscellaneous closing costs at about 1%. And then assuming you worked with us, for example, buy-side advisor fee there. And I'm assuming you're going to negotiate same way we would. Working capital is built in. So business of this size, you might be having about $500,000 worth of working capital left in the business. You definitely don't want to be financing that. Overall, we're talking about a total up of 2.7 million as a total loan, right? Seller finance plus SBA, 3.7 million as total purchase effectively, where they're getting 3.5 and the other is pure fees. Debt service ratio is 2 times on that. Very solid, completely within realm. I carved out an operator cost of 100 grand, which I think for 3 million in revenue, it's about right for someone to come in and be kind of a general manager, pay them an incentive on net income increase or otherwise. I'd say that's well within realm. Net cash flow after all said and done, 377 for a hands-off business, not bad. 477 if you step in, and that's assuming you're not going to put any money into this deal. So $0 injection from the lender and pay all your fees all rolled into the loan. It's really not a bad year one. And like I said, it's off by a small margin here because of how the SBA amortizes. So potentially this is closer to 500 and this is closer to 400. So pretty damn solid deal when all is said and done, especially, a couple of years down the road, you're at 700,000-800,000 in cash flows, even if the business just stays static for you. So pretty interesting deal. If you're in this area, I mean, I would take a look, see what's there and see if it's as good as they say it is.